Hey everyone, welcome to Moving Matt. We do vlogs, travel, and some camera stuff. And this is Breaking Rumors, the show where we break rumors. So today we have some information on Canon releasing a new Cinema EOS R camera, tentatively named the R5C. Now, a video-centric version of the R5 has been rumored for a while now, but not much was known about it, and the sources didn't seem very reliable. This latest rumor comes to us via Canon Rumors, who says, quote, "It looks like we will be seeing an EOS R5C in early 2022. Now, Canon Rumors are ranking this as a CR2, meaning that this is coming from a very reliable source. Not much information is known about it, but apparently it will have slightly different ergonomics than the R5, possibly to help with overheating and maybe design it more for video shooters in mind, kind of how the FX3 added some certain customizable buttons for video. Now, I'm not envisioning Canon will change the body as dramatically as that, but I can see them adding some extra buttons and maybe relabeling a few things. And a reason for more buttons is because apparently this camera will definitely have internal NDs in C-Log 2 and 3. Now, internal NDs sound awesome and makes me think that Canon with the RF mount can possibly add IBIS with internal NDs at the same time, something that Sony recently said wasn't possible with the E-mount. If that is the case and Sony doesn't figure out a way to make that work, I could see it being a big advantage moving forward for Canon. Now, the sensor specs aren't known, and they're not really sure if it's going to be using the same sensor as possibly the R5 does now. So Canon Rumors wasn't sure if the 8K will be in this camera, or if maybe they'd be lowering the megapixel count in favor of having better low light and just work on a solid 8K. I personally think that they could maybe meet somewhere in the middle and make it a 6K camera. Now, one big thing that confuses me about this camera and makes me question how it will all be segmented out is the current C70 and even more so the C50. So if this camera really is a year out, I can see how technology evolves, and that's just the way innovation works. The C70 will have been out for at least a year and a half, and it will still probably offer some stuff that makes it more suitable for cinema work. But the C50, which is still supposed to be coming out later this year, will be completely crushed if current rumored specs of the C50 are to be believed. So far, Canon Rumors is saying that the C50 will have a Super 35 sensor that is only capable of shooting 4K 60, and get this, 8-bit 420. Now, to me, unless this is being priced sub 2,000, I do not see how it makes sense at all, especially if you consider what Blackmagic and Sony are now doing. Which brings me back to the R5C. If I just bought a C50 for, let's say, $2,500 or more, which is where I'd expect it to be, and then now this new R5C comes out with far superior video specs less than a year later, I personally would be pretty upset. But of course, this is all just rumors and speculations as of now, and I do think that the idea of having a new video-centric R5 with NDs sounds pretty awesome. But what do you think? Does this camera intrigue you? Do you think it's even a real thing? If so, what kind of specs do you think it will have? Drop in the comment section below and let me know. And if you've liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And until next time, peace.